Shortly before break, I gave you a reading about readers and context that looked a bit like this. It didn't have the X on it, but I just put that X through it. You don't have to read that first part. This is a reading to help you understand and identify the readers and context for your writing. So I'm going to quickly go through some of this information, and then you've got some work to do on your own. To start with, readers. Identifying your readers. So you need to know who your audience is when you're going to write something. That's the most important thing you should think about as you begin to write the document. You have to be aware, though, that there are other people that may read the document that were not necessarily your intended readers. So we call the primary reader, that's the person who you're really addressing the document to. That's the person who needs to make the decision or who really needs the information that you're writing. But they may share that information with secondary people. The secondary people are often the advisors. So, for example, I may receive an email that asks me to come up with some ideas, but I may share that email with one of my colleagues to get their insight, to get some of their expertise to help me design my response to the document. So I made up a silly example here. I work at Dunder Mifflin selling paper to clients. I say, here's our price. It's competitive, but they want their accountants to look at their budget, prior buys, and etc. Right? So they're going to take that information and go to a secondary person to actually get some information and some advice. There are also potentially tertiary readers. So these are other people who have interest in what you have written. They may be people who are reporters, lawyers, historians, activists, but they have some interest in the document even though you did not write the document for them to read. So, for example, Monmouth College has a respect brochure. I was on the group that put this together. That was actually written to address the students on campus. Secondary people, well, that typically means people like the faculty and the staff who are trying to help you carry out those Title IX policies and procedures. However, there is a tertiary interest potentially for reporters. Reporters who are doing an article on Illinois colleges' sex assault prevention measures might actually take a look at this brochure and use it in their reporting. So then we have yet another set of people that are reading it, those who are reading the article that the reporter wrote. There could also be gatekeepers who are readers. The gatekeeper is often somebody who is your supervisor. So these are people who will look over the document before the document is sent out. So for example, pretend you are an HR personnel person. You're writing some policy about new flexible hours. Your manager will need to look that over before you're able to send that out to the employees of your company. So you need to keep in mind not only the person that you're writing this document to, but these other people that may get their hands on the document. Also, you need to think about the contexts. And we talked about context a couple of weeks ago, but context can be a number of things. The physical environment. Where will this person read this? How will they fit it in with what they already know? Economic. What economic issues are going on that influence the decisions that are being made? What are the costs and benefits of the ideas? How is money involved? So on and so forth. The political environment. What kinds of things are going on in the political world? It could be at the local level, the state level, the federal level, or even the international level. What kinds of things are happening? What kinds of trends are there that may actually have an impact on how people perceive what you've written? The ethical context. How will your document affect the rights, values, and well-being of others? How will people view your document through an ethical framework? So we want to be thinking about how the reader will think about this. Will they use it as a way to create loopholes and bend the rules? Will they look at it in a way that's going to put our company in a bad ethical spotlight? To practice this, I posted online a PayPal memo that was written by the PayPal president. The memo looks like this. You can find that on Moodle. I want you to read this. This is an actual memo that was sent out in February of 2014 by the PayPal president, President David Marcus. He is no longer the president of PayPal, but I want you to read that. Nearly all of you know that PayPal is a company that allows its members to send money without sharing financial information, with the flexibility to pay using their PayPal accounts, their bank balances, credit cards, and it also has promotional financing. When you read the letter, use that background information and other things you might know about what's going on in the world or in the economy to determine the readers and context. I want you to analyze this carefully to determine the mistakes that President David Marcus made in his memo.